There was great activity in the kitchen, which, because of its gigantic range, was mercifully warm. Over the range bubbled huge cauldrons of the atrocious porridge to be served for the girls' breakfast after assembly. Mildred stood unnoticed in the doorway, watching the 4 undercooks charging about. Miss Tapioca, a large person, proportioned very much like a cottage loaf, with white hair bundled into a hairnet, sat at one end of the 15-foot-long kitchen table looking up a recipe. "Ah, Mildred Hubble," she said, glancing up and seeing the bedraggled Mildred lurking in the shadows. "Have you bought our new mouser? Come and show it to us, girl. Don't just stand there staring." Mildred brought Tabby out from beneath her cloak and held him up. The 4 undercooks had gathered round as well, and they all tickled him on top of his head and smoothed his wind-blown fur. "Just right for a mouser," said Miss Tapioca. "And here is ebony in exchange. Much too intelligent and well-trained to be wasted in the kitchen. Well, put the cat down, Mildred, unless you want to stay with him and catch mice yourself." She handed Mildred the basket. Mildred could see a pair of brilliant green eyes gazing at her from the shadow inside. Tabby, nicely warmed up by the hot kitchen, had retreated to his favourite position round Mildred's neck. There was nothing else to be done, except to take the basket and go. "May I come and visit him?" asked Mildred, her voice quivering as she uncurled Tabby from her neck and placed him in Miss Tapioca's arms. "I don't think that would be very sensible, Mildred," said Miss Tapioca, holding Tabby in a very tight grip as the little cat was grimly trying to get back onto Mildred's shoulders. "He will be much too busy chasing mice to spare any time for visitors. Off you go and take care of Ebony. Now, that really is a cat to be proud of. You'll forget this little scruff in 5 minutes once you've been out flying with a cat like Ebony. Listen, there's the bell for assembly. You better hurry." Mildred left the kitchen without looking back. She could hear Tabby yowling desperately as he tried to follow her. She dived up the stairs 2 at a time, ran to her room, dumped her suitcase, broomstick, and the cat basket, and sprinted the last few corridors to join Maud and Enid marching into the great hall. "Hello, Mill," said Enid. "What's wrong?" "What's the matter, Mildred?" asked Maud. "You look as if something ghastly's happened." "It has," said Mildred, bursting into tears as quietly as possible, bearing in mind the fact that they were on their way into assembly. "I'll tell you about it later." After assembly, during which Miss Cackle announced that lunch break would be in the Great Hall instead of the yard because the snow was already several feet thick, the girls trooped off to their form rooms to be greeted by their form mistresses. Mildred's form were unfortunate enough to be presided over by Miss Hardbroom, the most terrifying mistress in the school. She was a genius at reducing her pupils to a gibbering heap with one withering glance. No one ever dreamed of passing a note or giggling or even speaking unless asked a question during Miss Hardbroom's lessons. On the way to class, Mildred managed to tell Enid and Maud the sad news about Tabby. Miss Hardbroom was sitting bolt upright behind her desk, waiting for the girls to settle, as they all filed into the room and took their places, arranging books and writing equipment in their desks. The room was only fractionally warmer than outside, and the girls discreetly rubbed their feet and blew on their hands in a futile attempt to warm themselves up. "Come along now, girls," said Miss Hardbroom. "Stop all this silly nonsense. It isn't that cold. Lunch break isn't far away, and then you can all run briskly around the Great Hall to get yourselves nice and warm. Anyway, girls, welcome back for the summer term. Mildred Hubble."